the fight, yeah, bring on all the lightning. Cause I'm looking for a hero. Look inside the mirror, I found one. Oh, carry the hurt when it gets too hard. Pick it up, dust it off when I fall down.
Hey viewers, welcome to this episode of Inspired. I am your host, Takia LaShawn, and again, joining me for the finalization of this 4-part series is my amazing son, Jaeden Bell. What's up?
Nothing much.
Nothing much. All right, so we are on the 4th part, our final leg of just this journey here. But as we know, the journey never ends for us. We're wrapping up a series called ʻō-vər-ʻkə-mər, and wrapping up this 4-part in this segment of the series ʻō-vər-ʻkə-mər, and we have just been walking through and talking with you about all the things you've overcome. We've talked about a head-on collision with a cluster of oak trees and how you overcame that, and dealing with, mental health and the traumas of the stress of that. We've talked about suffering from a concussion, falling off of a skateboard and hitting your head and going into the hospital. I remember joking, in our garage, we had a wheelchair, a few pair of crutches, a boot,
ACL ring,
a neck brace, an ACL, what is it called? Brace, a sling. I mean, I am absolutely a mom boy. I'm the mother of a boy. You have just absolutely tested your strength and shown your endurance to pull through in a lot of things physically. But when we left off with part 3, we were talking about a very emotional matter in our family. And again, I keep sharing that what resounds in me as we've gone through this is, what about Jaeden? But what about my son? And that's what this is about, is what about you and how you're doing, and the impact of what people probably did not think about. Maybe they did think about it. Maybe it was intentional. Maybe some people's heart was to attempt to hurt us, manipulate. But you're an overcomer. You come from a strong family. You come from a strong mother. You have a very firm foundation in your faith and in your mindset. What am I missing? What on this journey, what other things have you had to endure and overcome that you'd like to share with the viewers, talk through?
I think mainly my sister part. That's mainly the one that really hurts me a lot.
You're still in therapy for that. We started therapy. I tell you, when your sister started exemplifying. Now, one of the things I want to touch on, in the last series, we talked about how you feel and her actions. And I want to make clear, one of the things that we did not realize, because this is not my goal, that is to never attack or put anyone on blast or to hurt. And I know that you wouldn't do that. That's not what this is about here. This is about you being able to dialogue and share your experience. And again, I said she's not here to give voice. All we can do is talk about how we feel and how we felt. And she justifiably so in her own way, on her own terms and time. But when we were enduring some of the things that we were with, like you mentioned, the threats being her pulling knives on me. You've seen her pull a knife on me. Her harming herself, self-harm with cutting and suicide attempts. We've seen all of these things right before our eyes. And what we had to learn as a family was the entrance of me becoming a very strong advocate for mental health is that she was shortly after diagnosed with the mental illness.
Yeah.
What I thought to be rebellion, in part, some we could justifiably categorize some as rebellion, but looking back on it now, we realize there's triggers. There were things with mental health. I don't claim to be the best mother. Let me just throw that out there right now. I have my, role as far as being a single mom, as far as my own coming to terms with PTSD and suffering from depression and being a victim of abuse, being a victim of molestation. I came packaged with a lot of stuff inside of me that wasn't dealt with, that wasn't addressed, that I didn't even acknowledge or know needed to be addressed because I was told, you just keep moving like nothing happened.
Yeah.
You don't deal with it. Mental health isn't for Black people or the African American community, or girl, you just get over it. And then I become an adult and I have a child, that child being your sister, and I'm packaged with all the trauma and my own issues and my own mental health illnesses, so to speak, and I'm just expected to raise a child magically.
Yeah.
So I take full responsibility for any of my actions that are legitimate. But the things that were laid at my feet and the witch hunt, I'll call it what it is, so to speak, that was laid upon me, I won't take that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to double back because it's not about bashing or putting down. That's not my ministry. That's not my heart. But we have a voice. And again, Revelations 12:11 says, we have overcome by the blood of the Lamb and with the words of our testimony. And that's what we're doing here, is we're talking because one of the things you've learned and I've learned in this journey is that we're not alone. We're not alone. So many mothers have come to me before I even put my story out there and shared similarities in their own homes and households.
Yeah.
You have become a mentor for a agency called Be Strong. You're an advocate for being against bullying. You have a passion and a heart for young children. You just mentored with your young cousin the other day, and let's continue to talk about, all that you're doing and the positive as far as the healing with your counselor. You're in therapy. How is that helping you? Is that helping you?
Yeah, it's certainly helping me. It helps me to think and not have such a guard of just, hey, I don't want this, just push it away and just don't deal with it. And I sat down with my cousin yesterday. Mm-hmm. It kind of just put me in that situation. It was like, he doesn't have someone. Mm. He's like where I felt. Mm-hmm. There are times I wanted just to close up and not do anything and just run away from the world.
Yeah.
And he felt that way. I didn't know how to really understand that, but I did understand it. It was, he felt like he didn't have anyone to talk to. He felt like anything he did, wasn't right. Mm-hmm. He felt like he felt lost and alone. And that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah. And in the scheme of things, your uncle and aunt, your cousin's parents, he's not alone. Yeah. He's there for them. But when we go through things, or when we don't think that we have someone that can relate to us or understand us fully, we tend to feel alone. We know the enemy, his job is to isolate and separate and divide. And when he can get us alone in our thoughts or making us feel as if the world's against me, nobody cares about me, nobody loves me, But all day long, you have people pouring into your life and telling you, I do love you, and you are this and you are that. But then you have someone close to you that shows you differently.
Yeah.
The impact of that is debilitating.
Bringing out the fight, yeah, bring on all the lightning. Cause bringing out the fight, yeah, bring on all the lightning. Cause
How do you today, in the place that you're at right now, getting ready to leave for college, start a new journey in your manhood, really, how do you see your future moving forward, and how are you feeling right now with the place that you're at emotionally, mentally, with your relationship with your sister? If you could go ahead and answer. I got one more question. Go ahead.
I don't really want one. I don't really have a need to. It bothers me, of course, but I'm just like, I've been left in so many times. Like, what makes you think that I should believe you this time, that you'll stay and that you'll do the right thing when you always say it? I'm done making myself uncomfortable to make someone comfortable that doesn't even respect my space or anything.
Yeah.
Or respects me enough to talk about it. So I don't necessarily want a relationship. I know that sounds bad, and they're like, that's your sister and stuff, but I don't want someone in my life that reminds me every day that, hey, you left me more than I can count. It feels like 10, which I'm pretty sure it's up there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want someone in my life that ruins that for me, and then my future, whoever I'm with, and I don't want you around that person or around my future kids. And that's weird to say, but my future, I don't want you around them.
Yeah.
You made me feel that way. You're not going to make anyone else feel that way. You
Yeah.
took a lot of stuff away from me. You took most of my social life, most of my feelings, a lot of tears, and a lot of hurt and pain, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
It eats me up when I'm thinking about it. I don't know how to deal with it, but I'm like, it's still there. And it's like,
You shared something with me a few days ago that I did not know. You said, I know it bothers you, but you told me that you wake up at night, that it makes you physically sick to your stomach, that you wake up at night throwing up. And I did not realize that. And that is why we're in a space where we're continuing to advocate, talking about it, releasing it, letting it out, being true and honest to your own feelings in this, because you're entitled every bit of your feelings. Now, we know that the Word of God says that we are to forgive. And that's something we as a family, we know how to do. And we do it daily if we have to. Recently, I felt so strongly and impressed with just one of the many individuals that were players in this debacle. And it bothered me so that I reached out to her and I said, I forgive you. I forgive you. You stood in front of me and prevented me from reaching out to hug and hold my daughter as if I was going to harm her. And you had no right to do that. That's my daughter. But I forgive you. This is 6 years ago. And I've never talked to any of these individuals. You know that. I've stayed in a place of prayer and pushing for you and your sister's mental health. But it was consuming me so much that I felt led that I need to release that. And I finally was able to let it go. And there's many more, not many, but more than it should be. One was too much. But first and foremost, we must always forgive. But it is absolutely okay, and I've taught you this, to be true to your own feelings. I've had to learn to respect that with you as well, because again, Mom, I'm me in the middle, and I'm going, I just want my family together again.
Yeah.
I just want to see my children laugh and play and be silly and grow together. But I've had to learn that 6 years is a long time from you being 10 and 11 to now, being 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
She's 16, 17 now, she's 23. You all have such a huge part missing from one another's lives. And my prayer and my belief, I know that God is a restorer and a redeemer. However, again, I know that I also need to respect your emotions and feelings. You said something to me after this last incident. You said, Mom, when are we going to stop using her mental health as an excuse to disrespect you? And that hit home. It hit home. And for me, it helped me because, again, I keep finding myself in this place of those two children and that mom over the mountain. And I've made my decision to protect you and to hold on to you, but I realized I'd lost myself. I'd lost myself bending and conforming to allow the narrative of my life to be changed and almost accepting what was said about me just to try to fix it.
Yeah.
And that was not okay, and it wasn't true. And like you, I've gotten to the place where I've set boundaries and I'm guarding and protecting my space. I'm holding on to my hope and my faith, but I'm living my life.
Yeah.
Like, I forgive, obviously. That wasn't hard, kind of, but
It made me feel really bad because I'm like, you made an 11 or 12-year-old kid think of wanting to die. Like, that's something that shouldn't even be an 11 or 12-year-old kid's vocabulary. Like that, you made me feel that way. That's something I can never forget.
Yeah.
It deeply hurt.
Yeah.
I've forgiven her, but
You know what you're gonna have to do, baby? It's gonna be, as we talk about, a day-to-day walk, because that 11 and 12-year-old kid that's in you that is hurting and has this brokenness is now depending on this 18-year-old young man to heal him. That's where that series, Healing Through the Hurt, came from, because we never forget. There's some things we just never forget, and that's okay. But forgiveness, this is what sets us free, and I know you've forgiven, but healing is always in the present tense. It's not a past tense. Yeah. H-E-A-L-E-D. It's not healed, it's healing. And so every day as you go forward in your life and continue to become the young man that you are, on into your adulthood, and graduating college and finding your way in a career or your purpose or your passion, or out there on that soccer field playing professional soccer and marrying and then becoming a father. I tell you every time when you make decisions, let your actions be as if what? Who's watching?
my kids are watching.
Your kids. Make sure you're making choices and decisions as if your future children are watching daddy. Your future children need to know that you are doing everything possible to come to them fully healed or in the process of healing and speaking to that 11 or 12-year-old little boy that's inside of you. Because you're not him anymore, but it's okay to let him see who you are becoming.
Yeah.
You understand? It's been a very difficult journey for us. It has. We've said so much here, and we haven't even scratched the surface, have we? No, we haven't. We're stronger for it. We're better for it. You know, today is better than
Tomorrow.
yesterday.
Oh, yesterday and tomorrow's better than today.
And tomorrow will be better than today. That's it. I thank you so much for doing this series with me. I thank you for being vulnerable to share your raw emotions and feelings. I thank you for your honesty and your integrity and your transparency. I know you're going to do amazing things, Jaeden. I know it from the moment you were born. I researched your name years ago biblically. Your name is in the Bible, and in Hebrew it means God has heard. And you've seen him answer prayers and open doors that you just walk through effortlessly. And I speak that over you as you take this next journey on. I'm looking for you to do great things. And I just want you to know, if nobody else ever tells you, Mama's proud of you. If I don't ever tell you, God's proud of you. You're going to do great things. You're going to be amazing. Thank you.
Welcome.
I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for joining this episode of Inspired. See you next week. Want more inspiration and encouragement? Join me next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Live, and hear more extraordinary women sharing their extraordinary stories. And be inspired with Takia LaShawn. This episode of Inspired with Takia LaShawn has been sponsored by The Brow Company, Beauty Bar, Makeup Studio, and Lash Spa, a Takia LaShawn salon. The Brow Company specializes in exceptional lash, brow, and makeup artistry, natural nail care, full body and Brazilian waxing, laser liposuction, teeth whitening, hair shampoo and blow dry styling, and more. The Brow Company has 2 locations in Bluffton, South Carolina, and on Ladies Island, and are open by appointment Monday through Saturday. Find out more and book your appointment today. Have a business, idea, nonprofit, organization, or event you'd like to talk about? Contact me today to find out more about my sponsor and affiliate partner program segments here on Inspired with Takia LaShawn.
But I learned our scars make us who we are. Now I'm 10 feet tall over my demons. Remind me no one's got me like myself.